Good morning, everyone. It's Cail. I'm doing a live stream test on YouTube. I have no idea how it's going to go as far as any lag or audio. Hopefully, you can hear me. On the screen over there, I have the chat, but since I doubt anybody will watch, I have no idea if that's going to work or not. I suppose I can go over on my phone and type something and see what happens. The dogs are currently sleeping. It's pretty quiet this morning. I've been having allergy issues, so hopefully I don't sound too awful. Let me go over to my phone. Let's just see if it actually shows me streaming. Okay. Let's just see. If it actually... Pause that and let's see how to do this. Let's just do, can I put something? I'll just put testing as a chat thing. I just want to see if it shows up in the chat thing. Like, do I really know anything about this? No, I don't. Live chat viewer. Let's go to settings. Okay. I have the text size at like 17, but it needs to be bigger. I'm blind anyway, so I wouldn't be able to see. I can't see anything like showing there. On the viewer, does the thing even work? I don't know. I can't even see what that says on the screen. Let me see if I can peek and see. No, of course I can't see what it says. So I'm going to go ahead and just freaking hide that. Like, don't show that. That's fine. Okay. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Alright, there we go. Oh, it's on the Spotify thing. That's fine. Okay. Let's make sure the camera's still working. It's been a little fidgety this morning. So, okay. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me go ahead and get the Spotify music playing. And hopefully you'll be able to hear that in the background. And we'll see how long the dogs last as far as being quiet. So I'm working on this little section right here on Magic Potion. It's a Diamond Art Club kit. So pardon any like little glare. That's from the lights, so I can see what I'm doing. I do have a light pad underneath here. Yeah. So I'm working on the top of this bottle here. I'm kind of going like this way. So let's see how that goes. I've got a bunch of different colors out. So let's go ahead and just continue on. I was doing a little bit this morning. It's kind of like we wake up really early. Let's see, I'll scoot that over a little bit. I usually wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning because my hubby goes into work pretty early. Why is this thing... Let me scoot this over just a little bit. Just gonna do that. Yeah. Hubby goes into work fairly early, and so we're really used to waking up early in the morning. Even on the weekends, we'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So when most people are still like totally fast asleep, we're like up and about doing whatever. So the AC just went on. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that little whir in the background. It's still warm here in Texas, but we've gotten out of like the major like 105 torment that we were going through, which was completely awful. Throw that one out. We did actually get a little bit of rain. I'll put some more in here, which is really nice. Very little rain, but it's supposed to rain, I think, again later on this afternoon. And we need all the rain we can get because it's been so dry here. We went weeks without any rain going on. It's awful. Sometimes I really hate summer. I used to love summer. Summer was my favorite season. And then I moved to Texas, and I changed my mind pretty quickly on that. Yeah, it's terrible. We've talked about moving. Um, Pick up. These things are sticking. We've talked about moving somewhere else. But I'm kind of picky on where I live, and I don't want to go back anywhere where there's serious winter because I despise winter. I was born on a tropical island, and I don't like winter. Um, I don't mind if it gets a little chilly. Like here, it gets chilly, and it doesn't normally snow. We'll get an occasional storm. Like a couple years ago, we had the snowmageddon, ice-mageddon thing that we had going on, which was a nightmare. For the most part, it's bearable. So, I mean, we have like I don't know, 6 months of summer here. It's ridiculous. So now, and we have a very short spring and a very short fall, and it's so winter, but most of the time it's just warm. So I got a little set of holiday diamond paintings. I did the Hello Fall one. I'm going to seal it later on today. So my fan just went on my laptop. I'm actually using my laptop to stream this. If anybody can hear me or if anybody's watching, I don't know. I'm an elderly, I'm an elderly senior citizen, so boomer action going on. So if it's working, it's working. If it's not, it's not. I'll go about an hour or until like the dogs start being irritating or waking up or whatever they're gonna do. I took them outside already. They didn't do very much. They stared around in confusion as to like why I woke them up to go outside because they were sleeping, and they are sleeping again. Um, where was I? Anyway, so yeah, if somebody's watching or listening or not, if you can hear me, if you can't, I do have the stream open on my phone, so if you can't hear me, just type in the chat that you can't hear me, and I'll keep an eye on it while I'm diamond painting. Let's put some right here. So I decided, I bought a Heaven and Earth design pattern for an Amy Stewart painting. It's really pretty, and it's super awesome, and it's going to be a big project. So I used to cross stitch when I was younger, and it's actually one of my favorite hobbies. I kind of figured that I just kind of got away from it, having kids, marriages, blah blah blah, moving around, and I just got out of it. So I had a bunch of thread, I had fabric, I had patterns, and so on and so forth. So I was trying to declutter my studio since I have so much stuff in here. And I wasn't using it. And I was like, well, let me just go ahead and let me give it to one of my daughters. Maybe she'll be interested in picking up cross stitch as a hobby. But my sneaking suspicion, once I never heard anything back from her on it, like, wow, Mom, this is really cool. I started a project. I'm learning how to do it. Nothing. Complete and utter silence. So, after I bought the pattern for the Heaven and Earth Designs pattern, what I was considering was doing it as a diamond painting. And then I was like, well, you know what? The child, I mean, she's a grown woman. The child, but I call her the child when I'm irritated, has not responded at all about doing any cross stitch. So then I had a light bulb moment, and I was like, well, what if I go ahead and do the Heaven and Earth design as a cross-stitch project? So I'm currently working on a cross-stitch project. It's a stamped cross-stitch, and I was like, well, maybe I can do this Heaven and Earth design as cross-stitch instead of doing it as a diamond painting. I mean, I already have enough diamond painting projects going on, so it's not like I need another one at the moment. And I would say that the Magic Potion's humongous. The two Josephine Wall projects are humongous. And I still got, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe 5. Yeah, 4 or 5 Diamond Art Club kits, like, still in the box. I haven't even opened them up to take a look at them. And so I figured, well, let me go ahead and decide to do the Heaven and Earth design, Amy Stewart painting, as a cross-stitch project. Now, of course, I haven't cross-stitched other than that stamp kit that I'm slowly starting and getting back into the groove, so to speak. I haven't done it in a long time. So it's going to take me a bit to get the feel again of moving the thread and the needle and all of that. And I had to get some supplies since I had gotten rid of most of the supplies. So I got a roll-up frame to put the canvas on. I ordered the canvas. So it's going to be like 51 by 36, something like that. It's pretty big. And I got some nice scissors just for that. I have different scissors for crochet and for other crafts and so forth. And what else did I buy? I had something else. Oh, I bought a nice purple little pin cushion. So I can stick the needles in there. I already have a sewing box, kind of basket looking thing I've had for a long time from when I was cross stitching before. I still have it. It's very old. It's probably like at least 30 years old. So, but it still works. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got a little fabric on the top, little design, floral flowers or something. So I'll probably use that to store the thread. The canvas will be on the roller frame. And then I sent a friendly little text message to my child saying, hello there. Are you cross-stitching? Because if you aren't, can you bring back all the thread? Because I have a lot of floss. Not thread, floss, same thing. I had a lot. I probably had like 3 little plastic storage boxes. And I was like, well, let me have her bring those back. So she'll bring those back on Thursday. And then I'll go through and see what, review like what condition they're in, because they're old too, but I don't think there should be anything wrong with them. And then go through the pattern and see what I'm going to need. Okay, so what is this one? This little tray is being a bear, so I don't know if it's got something stuck on it. Maybe I have to clean it. But it's just been a bear. Things don't want to come up. Like, what's the problem? So I was going to do some streaming. I was going to do this YouTube test yesterday. Oh, wow. Come see that? Like, come up. And I ended up waking up in the morning in agony from a sinus headache. So it's ragweed season here. And I was like, oh no. And I spent the day in my pajamas. I took all the meds that I needed to take, and I actually didn't do very much. I did a little bit of gaming on my Switch, playing Fae Farm. So if you want to check out that first gameplay on that, you can check that out on my channel. It's really cute. I like it. I'm going to play some more today. And then I did some reading. I'm reading Exiles, The Ruins of Ombre by Melanie Ron. I read it a long time ago. It's a really good fantasy book. It's supposed to be a trilogy, but I bought the first 2 books, and she's not finished the trilogy in 20 years, whatever, 20 plus years. Apparently, her mother passed away, so I can relate, and she just wasn't really interested, or went into depression or whatever. Couldn't write the 3rd book, and it's a pretty complicated story in a rather complicated world. So I know that she would need to be at the top of her form to finish it off. So I'll go ahead and read the first 2 books. I still enjoy them, and I try and do some reading in the evening before I go to sleep. I don't try and spend a bunch of time on X or X Twitter, whatever. I don't know why he renamed it. I mean, I kind of know why he renamed Twitter, but whatever. And so I don't like poisoning my mind with the X-verse. I guess that's the new term instead of the Twitterverse. Before I go to sleep at night. I mean, who wants nightmares, right? Because the state of the world is crazy. It's crazy, crazy. And let's see, this is K. Let's grab some of this little sideways S with the line. So I like to do reading instead and just get some fantasy reading in. I usually only read fantasy. I used to read science fiction, and I might pick some up here and there. There's a set of books in what they call the Sign Gen universe, and it's about humanity after a disaster of some sort, and it split the human race into 2 forms, so to speak. They're still humanoid, whatever, look human, but half of the, or part of the human race has these like these tentacles that come out from your forearm, and they're like usable or whatever, and they draw energy, like life energy, from the other part of the human race. It's really fascinating. So there's this dependency and predatory type of behavior, and they're really, really good stories, and the characters are really good. I believe the author, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 1, because it's several books, are Jean Lichtenberg. Is her name Jean Lichtenberg? Jean Laura? Something Lichtenberg. Yeah. Anyhow, I would have to look that up. Probably on my website. So, that's science fiction, and I enjoy that. I mean, I read a lot of science fiction when I was younger, like in my 20s. It's just not my preference. It's probably my second favorite, but there are some good books. In the science fiction area, I like the books that are kind of like apocalyptic. I don't know why, but I mean, I find it fascinating. So there's ones, say, like Lucifer's Hammer. So a comet comes and hits the Earth and just jacks the Earth all up. Just really bad. Society collapses, civilization collapses, and it's just about how people handle, the people that survive, how they handle recovering from that mega disaster. And so it's really crazy. I mean, the U.S. Army goes cannibal because, of course, you know, what happened to the food, and there's no power. There's a group up on a mountain, I believe in Colorado. They're trying to, they can make like a little enclave, and like they're like protected. They have a fort and they have guards and so on and so forth to protect their food and their water. And they're trying to get the power back on, and they get attacked by those cannibalistic military guys. It's really, really good. There's another one. I forget who wrote that. Maybe Jerry Pournelle and Larry Niven. Maybe. Um, Let me see if anybody's listening, and like, can you let me know in the chat? Um, Whatever. And there's another one by Pat Frank. It's called. It's called Alas Babylon. Oh, somebody said hi in Le Français. Bonjour. So I guess you can hear me. That's a good thing. Hi. So Alas Babylon is about nuclear war in the world. And I forget how it started and who did what first. But I guess the U.S. fires on Russia or China, one of the two. And then the Chinese and the Russians are firing bombs at each other. So there's bombs flying right and left. It's just crazy, and it destroys a lot of the world, of course, which it's going to do. And then, of course, the rest of the story after that. I don't do that. My PC, my laptop wants to go into power mode, saving, whatever. And so the rest of the story is about how the world deals with that. And so there's little bubbles, I guess, little pockets of survivors. And so how they treat the people with radiation sickness, how they deal with food, water, purification, all that kind of stuff. It's very fascinating. So those kind of books I like because they give you an idea of how people would handle major disasters. There's another one called The Disappearance. I believe it's by Philip Wiley. And there's some like mega moment, and all of the women disappear from the men's world, and all of the men disappear from the women's world. So of course, if you have, say, like a man flying a jet plane, the jet crashes because the man's like not there all of a sudden. Yeah, it's really fascinating. So say like a woman's at home cooking dinner and her kids are there, all of a sudden like she disappears. So like, things are burning on the stove, so on and so forth, and the men come home like, what? So that one's interesting too, to see what roles and actions and how people cope with that. Like in a world of all women, what do you do without men? In a world of all men, what do you do without women? So that one's really fascinating too. Anyways, those kind of books, they just give you different ways of viewing the world. And they also did give me an appreciation for our world. I mean, we only have this one planet, so we kind of need to take care of it and take care of each other. It's not like we can go and escape up to the moon. I mean, and who really wants to live on the moon? There's no trees there. There's no water. It's just, vacuum. Gray, ugly. Nobody really wants to live there. It would just really work well for just like a stopping off point into other further areas into space. But as far as I'm concerned, humankind is not ready for space. No. We have to grow up first. Okay, there's an S. And I'm kind of going out of my line, but I'm trying to do like little pockets of color. So I've got some ABs here. That's number 4. That's this little area right here. Let's get that. Move it up a little bit. Move it up. Right here. Just on the top. Let's see. Let me rearrange this a minute. Move this down under the camera. Let me see. I don't know if I want to do that. It's not that easy to move things around. I'm using XSplit. I don't know what's on the top. Maybe make it smaller. There you go. Okay. Grab some water while I'm at it. So yeah, it's got some ABs here, number 4. I'm gonna go ahead and do this little section here. So it's weird because I have 2 different pairs of eyeglasses because I'm blind, because I'm old. And well, actually, I've been wearing glasses since I was in the 9th grade. So the glasses I have on to look at the laptop, which is that way, are kind of like computer glasses for that particular distance. And they're bifocal, so I should be able to see up close, but for some reason, that's not really working that well. So, and if I take them off, yeah, I'll just leave them on. Okay, so let's go over here. I'm not really doing much multi-placing on this particular kit, except for up at the top part where there's a lot of black. And I just find sometimes that multi-placing is a real pain in the neck. It's almost like you have to have like the wax perfect on your diamond painting pen, and you got to hit the drills really well, grab them in there, and I can do it. I mean, I've done it, but it's just kind of a pain if you don't feel like being super technical. Like, okay, hold on, let me grab this, let me make sure I got all the drills on here, let me check the glue over and over, the wax over and over, and sometimes it's just a pain. I'd rather just single place. And it works just fine. I know it'd probably take me longer to complete the diamond painting, but I'm not in any particular rush. I have plenty of projects, plenty of things to keep me busy, and so I figured, like, during the day I do my diamond painting. I will diamond paint in the middle of the night if I have insomnia, which has been happening lately. So I'll just be in my studio and turn on a movie. So the other night it was like, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe. I have tinnitus or tinnitus, so my ears were ringing, or the sound was ringing in my head. I couldn't sleep, so I got up, turned on my lights, started diamond painting, and I turned on a movie. I turned on Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio and I think it's Jennifer Lawrence. And that movie cracks me up. It may not be like a 5-star movie or anything super awesome, but it just cracks me up because, I mean, sometimes people are really stupid. So, and I can just imagine that with the way most people are, that situation would happen where they wouldn't believe that it was going on. No, there's no comet gonna hit the earth. No, that's, what's on social media, who's talking about it, click like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it would just be ridiculous, and people would be like that. So I've got some, this little dot right there. I'll wait to do that in a second. Let's go ahead and, I'm doing this to this canvas. Let's do some of this K right here. I'm not really going in my straight line, but I am still going up this way. So I'm still kind of doing what I said I was going to do. Just not exactly the same way. So the other day, I had the Witch's Study Room diamond painting out in the sunroom, which is where it is right now at the moment because I was diamond painting out there this weekend. because it wasn't, 2,000 degrees outside. And I could go out there and just enjoy the sunroom for a little bit till it got too warm, and then I went back in the regular living room. And so it's out there. So I took all the canvases that I'm working on. So I've got on this back wall over that way, there's a wall right there. I've got the Amy Brown Celebrate, the Josephine Wall Aquarius, the Josephine Wall Bubble Flower, the Diamond Art Club, I think it's called Bittersweet. All of those are hanging. So I have like pegboard on my wall, which you can see if you see like my gaming streams, gaming videos. So I got some pretty rose gold hangers that have like the little clips, as if you were going to hang like a skirt. I don't know if people wear skirts anymore, but anyways, or pants or whatever, they got the little clips, and they're cute. They're rose gold, and so I just have them hanging from hooks in the pegboard up there, so they're easily accessible and they're not getting wrecked up, because I do have the dogs and I have a cat. I mean, I don't think she'd do anything. She's kind of old. I just want to go down there. There we go. So I decided I would hang them on the wall behind the desk from the pegboard, and that was pretty handy. And I was like, good, because they were like just. I was trying to keep them all flat on the desk, on this desk here, my drafting table. But I didn't like them all like piled up on each other. And yeah, I kind of just didn't like the way that I was like, I don't want to wreck them, knock the diamonds off or whatever. I didn't think I would, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to do that. Okay. So let me see here. So I'm going to need C. This little dot. I can fill this little area here. So if I do this little area here and this one here, that's that sideways S with the line. So let's finish a little bit more of the K. So my dogs don't like when it's cloudy out, so they'll sleep all day. They don't like when it's really hot, so they'll sleep all day. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, I have to literally force them to like get up and play, run around. Of course, like, I'm 63. I'm not going to run around with them. I mean, I was never a runner. It always gave me shin splints. So I'm not going to run around. And actually, I am not their entertainment. So it's like, you guys need to just get up and run around and play. And after a bit, they'll do it. But, oh, Lord, like, get up. Okay, so let me see here. That's this one here. But they do, they somewhat keep me company. I was going to say they keep me company, but, I mean, if they're asleep, they're not really keeping me company. But they are good company, especially the little baby. She's actually, let me see. She's actually sleeping on the day bed. So in my studio, I have a day bed, and she's actually sleeping up there on, I have a kind of long cushion for leaning back up against when you're reading. So she's sleeping on that. So she'll let me know when she wakes up. She'll come and like pull on my ponytail and scratch my back. Like, wake up, pay attention to me, come here. The other two girls are on their little fluffy beds down on the floor next to each other. So it is kind of cloudy here today, which that doesn't bother me because it's been so sunny, so hot, so unbearable. I mean, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, if this kind of heat keeps up, we're going to be living like we're going to be forced, literally forced, to put housing underground. We're going to have to be like hobbits, living in little holes in the ground with little doors and skylights and so forth, so we can get a little bit of light, natural light. Probably end up with like vitamin D deficiencies or something like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's going to get to that point. Like the people in Arizona, I've been to Arizona. My younger brother lived there for a little bit. I took a trip out there with my kids, or maybe it was just my daughter. I don't know if my son was with me at the time, but we went out there. It was summertime, and it was 110 degrees by 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's worse than here in Texas. So I was like, how do you live here? Like, how do you function? Like, they had no grass. Maybe I think he had a pool in the backyard. He might have had maybe like a small little piece of grass. Not very much. The rest was all like lava rock, um, sidewalk, and so forth. And but I don't know how people live in that, because here in Texas, when it gets to that, I'm just like, I'm out. Like, I don't spend time outside. I can't spend time in my backyard. Um, Everything's the plants aren't green and pretty and flowering. They're all just suffering. Um, can't enjoy the pond. So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do as a civilization. Either figure out a better way, or I don't know. I mean, the human body can only take so much heat, and then it's gonna, you get like heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Um, what do I got over here? A little bit here. Okay, the AC went back on. Thank goodness, because I was starting to get warm. So anyhow, back to my cross stitch thing. I'm really looking forward to that. I hope that I can manage to see well enough to do the stitches. So the fabric I got was Ida or Aida, whatever, um, 16 count. So, I mean, if it was 11 count, it would be gigantic, and it probably wouldn't look as nice. It would be too pixelated, and the same with 14. So I figured 16, and then 20, 25, 18, all those, the stitches would just be too small. I would never be able to see where to put the needle. I just couldn't. So, okay, let's put that. Can I get those? Yeah. Let's do a little bit of S. So I've got a couple here. And I could put some wax in. So, I mean, even with my diamond painting, the bubble flower and the Aquarius, the Josephine Wall projects, they're really small. The symbols just, oh God, they're so small. And so I have a magnifying glass that has a light on it that I can use. But, yeah, I mean, vision. So I have no idea if I'll even finish the Heaven and Earth design cross stitch. But I'm going to give it a whirl. And I'll do that in the evenings when hubby's home from work. It'll fall. I got those little dots. And then I'll do my diamond painting, and got some crochet projects I'm working on. Oh Lord, wake up, little computer. There you go. Don't go away from me. It goes into like, not screen saving, but like low, I don't know, power mode or something. I'll fix that. Okay, so besides the little dot here, that's C. Oh, there's an S here in the middle, right there. I like this little thing. She's cute. Scoot this thing. This canvas is gigantic. Like, seriously. Pull this light pad down a little bit. There. Oh, decided to go off. No, don't go off. I want you to go off. There we go. Why is it going off? There. I'll try not to touch it. So let's do these here. So the project that I'm doing, that's the Witch's Study Room, which is a really cute piece of art. For some reason, some of the diamonds, and it's mostly on the lighter colors, seem to be almost like too small, like just by a little bit. It's very frustrating. So I end up having these gaps between the diamonds, and it's like, stop doing that. It's only like on certain colors. I mean, I suppose I could go into my stash and look around and see if I can replace them, because it's got the pattern has some straight lines. It's like a I think it's like a little dresser, armoire, or a desk of some sort. Maybe a desk, because there's a typewriter. So of course it's got straight lines because it's a piece of furniture. It's not a round piece of furniture. And when some of it's in that light color, and it's like, why are you making a gap right here? I stuck the diamond right next to the other one, and I think also the adhesive, the port glue that's on the canvas, might be like, maybe like they put like a little too much. I don't know. So they kind of float around a lot. The diamonds float around, and you just touch it just a little bit, and it just like moves out of position. So there's a couple of little issues on that one, which I was surprised because it's the Diamond Art Club kit. So, okay, so that's that area. So I'll just have to fiddle with it and do the best I can. That's water. So hopefully everything's working hunky-dory on the live stream part. I mean, I'm no expert. I don't want to be an expert. I just want it to work fairly easily. It's taken me almost a year to get everything set up with cameras, microphones, all that software, reading about settings. Normally I would have been able to ask my son, but since my son passed away, that's not there anymore. He probably would have known. He was good with audio visual stuff. Of course, he's that generation. And so really it's basically just been me, boomer me, trying to figure things out. And I don't want to impose on the other people that I follow that are streamers for various different things, pop culture, movie reviews, book reviews, those sorts of things. And I don't really know anybody in the diamond painting community, even though I do watch some of their, oh, stop going off videos. Maybe move it up a little bit so I don't touch it. Yeah, so it was basically just me trying to figure out what the heck I was doing and cursing a lot. It's like, okay, why can't I hear myself? And doing a lot of testing. So I would hit record. It's like, can I hear myself? Can they hear the music? Can they hear the game? Um, what's the frames per second? What's the bit rate? All of these sorts of things that I'm not familiar with, nor was I really particularly familiar with ahead of time. Now, I did used to do technical support on computers, so I am somewhat of a little techie geek. I like techie gadgets, the latest cell phone and blah, 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 um, so on and so forth. So it's not like I'm totally ignorant on the technical side of things. I mean, I did support for gateway computers back in the day when it was Windows 98 and IE4, Internet Explorer 4. So you can just imagine what a nightmare that was back then. Having people would call into technical support. I don't have any sound, and this was on desktops. There weren't really, I don't think there were laptops back then. Or if there were, normal people like us didn't own one. It was too expensive. And so I was literally having people take apart their computers. Like, let's open up the case and we're going to check your jumper settings on your motherboard. And, we're going to take out your sound card and we're going to reseat it. So I know all about that. I know about that sort of thing. Um, but as far as like video, um, yeah, that kind of stuff, recording, I don't really know about that. Um, I do know how a music DAW works because I've written a little bit of music just playing around because my son used to write music. And I kind of figured, oh, let me try that out a little bit. But he was like 2,000% better than me at it. I just kind of putter around, and he was actually like writing music that are on SoundCloud and maybe some other places. I can't remember. Like he wrote like a whole album. Um, so I've done that. I mean, I've made graphics. I usually use PaintShop Pro for graphics. I've been using it for a long time. I can do web design. I used to make websites and so forth when people actually use those. My own website is in WordPress, so I'm familiar with how WordPress works and plugins and all that kind of stuff. Um, so, I'm no slouch on the technical side of things, but I'm just not like a video person. I just didn't know, like, what am I supposed to do? And it's just been a nightmare kind of learning about it at my age when really I shouldn't be messing with it, but it's okay. I wanted to have a small little channel, have fun with it, and share what I do, the things that I love. I mean, I love diamond painting. It's like the perfect hobby for me. Super chill, colorful, and non-stressful. Crocheting's also like that, although if you start doing a more advanced crochet pattern, you can get frustrated um, if you make a mistake. You're like, oh my god, I just screwed that up. Then you have to take it out and redo it. Um, I do adult coloring books with all my colored pencils. I have a bunch of colored pencils, different brands and so forth. And so I do that. That's not my forte though. Let's see, my mom, my youngest brother, and my sister were the artists, like the painters. Um, and they were all very good. My youngest brother was an awesome artist. He passed away back in 2018. It was 2018. And, but he was an awesome artist. Very kind of like surreal type of abstract, Salvador Dali type art, but very, very cool. And so I have some of his paintings here. After he passed away, I brought some here to the house. And then my mother could do, landscape, scenes from Puerto Rico, where we were born. Not too many people. She wasn't like a portrait painter. And she was very free-flowing, used the paint knife quite a bit, very, very expressive with her art. And then my sister has some of that talent, but she's more controlled painter, and she does landscapes mostly, from what I understand. I've only seen a couple of her paintings, and she's more controlled and rigid in her art, more realistic, so to speak, whereas my mom was like super creative, and my brother was super creative. Like, like my brother was like out of the box creative, and it was such a waste of his talent because he couldn't really paint in the last 10 years of his life because he was too busy drinking, which was really a shame. But I still love his art. So when my mom passed away last year in January, my older brother came in, my sister came in, my younger brother right underneath me, the one that's 2 years younger, he came in. So we all came in from out of town. I mean, I lived in the same town as my mom, so I was already here. So going through her art was difficult. So I have some, I think my younger brother already had some at his house. And then I think my sister maybe took a couple. So yeah, so we shared them all around. It was nice. Okay, so let's see. I got this section kind of going. I like to run my finger over the diamonds like this, if anything's sticking up. Okay. So this is the slash. That's $8.98. And then we've got this L, which is 300. So of course diamond painting uses the DMC colors. So L is 300. So let me check the stream real quick. Been going about 55 minutes almost. Bit rate looks good. I don't see any drop frames. Chopped? Should I say? Chopped? Music still going. Camera didn't freak out any. Okay, well, let's just continue on for a little bit longer because I have a feeling somebody's going to end up waking up. So let's do L. So then in the family, so let's see. So I got the artists. So there's six brothers and sisters, 4 boys, 2 girls. So it goes boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, boy. So I was the writer, mostly poetry. I have a bunch of poetry I wrote. I started trying to work on a fantasy novel. I got quite a bit of the background and the world building done. I just never got around to writing it. Too many distractions. And I guess that just meant I'm not actually really a writer. I mean, I like it, but I'd rather diamond paint or do crafting or whatever. Um, my older brother, he's the kind of like the historian. That's what his bachelor's in. So he's like the history buff. And he's a computer geek as well. My younger brother is a computer geek. So, see, I wasn't the only one in the family that was weird that way. Um, yeah, I think my younger brother is, I think he's doing AI or machine learning, something probably bad for humanity. Uh, and then my older brother is like a systems admin. I think he's a systems architect, like for computers. I don't know, something like that. My sister's more on the HR end of things. So she's like a HR manager, some company out east. And then the next youngest brother, well, there's not a lot to say about him. He's an artist as well, but he's got schizophrenia, so his life's kind of a wreck right now. Um, but he can paint. He's talented that way. Not this, to the same degree as the youngest brother, but he's good. And then all of us. So let's see. So my mother played the piano and the violin. And then my older brother played the string bass, and I think he also knew how to play the bassoon. He taught himself how to play the bassoon, whatever, weirdo. I mean, he was a string player, picked up the bassoon. And then I was the clarinet player, so I did clarinet and flute. I taught myself how to play the flute. And then I didn't do the oboe though. That was too much. Then the next brother, he played the timpani. And so down in our family room, in our 3-story house back in Maryland, because I grew up in Maryland, I'm an East Coaster. That's why I don't sound like I'm Texan, because I ain't Texan. So we had a set of timpani down in the family room downstairs. Then my sister, so it's like boy, girl, boy, girl. So my sister played the tuba. And as she got older, she picked up the other brass instruments. So she could play the trumpet, baritone, yeah, and French horn. I think a little bit on the French horn. But she could play all the brass instruments. And she was very good. And she was the one that was actually the most dedicated to the music instrument part of things. Because she played like when she got older, after her child was, a teenager, when, older, she would play in the city band. She was like involved with the city band. And she did tuba Christmas every year. It's a big thing for tuba players. And then my next brother, he played the trombone, and I think he also tried the cello. I think he liked the trombone better. And then the youngest brother, he played the trumpet. So let's see. So my kids, my daughter played the string bass. My son played the drums. And then my younger brother, one of his sons, or maybe both of them, maybe both his sons can play the piano. And then my sister, her daughter, plays the, I don't think it's a tuba, maybe the baritone. I'm not sure. But yeah, so my son on his drums, he could do like the drum set, and he was also in drumline in school when he was in school. And he did different parts of drumline, the bass drum, the marimbas, xylophone, something like that. So our entire family is like mega musical, and it was chaotic growing up because there were people playing instruments at all hours, practicing. There were lessons to go to, like my mom said, oh, it's time for your clarinet lesson. There were band competitions, band concerts, just ridiculous. So I'd be trying to do my homework or whatever, and my younger brother's downstairs practicing the timpani. I'm like, Mom, like really? So it was chaotic. I mean, my household was chaotic when I was growing up. My mom was a Renaissance woman, so she believed in being educated and well-rounded. So we did things like ice skating lessons, fencing lessons, art lessons, the musical instrument lessons. Yeah, it was crazy. Like I had my own épée. I was learning fencing. What was I gonna do? Oh, just turn that thing off again. I'll have to move it back up. What was I gonna do? I was never gonna be a fencer. First of all, I'm probably not tall enough, nor am I athletic enough to do so. So, yeah, I don't think so. Um, but it was fun. It was fun. I used to poke my brother with it. But back then I had a bad temper, so I always fought with my older brother. We fought like cats and dogs, which is really funny because now that we're old, he and I are the ones that stay the most in touch. So we talk to each other, every other day, a few times a week. And it's hilarious because we used to tear each other up. Oh, I was so mean when I was young. I actually hurt my younger brother one time because he took the swing from me, and I was like, it's mine. Oh, I was like in 6th grade. And I scratched him when I took a swipe at him. I got swiped at him. And, oh, I hurt him, and oh, did I get in trouble. And my mom was like, yeah, you need to think about your anger. You need to control your temper. Because, of course, she didn't like any of that stuff. She was like totally against that. And, yeah, she's like, you can't act like wild animals in my home. Which is why we were into all these instruments. And I was reading Shakespeare, and we grew up on classical music and musicals. And Saturday morning was listening to Oklahoma and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. So it was very... So being out of control with your anger and acting like an animal was not allowed. So I got in trouble. So I did actually do what she said. What she asked me to do, she's like, go in your room and sit and think about what you did to your brother. And think about your temper. And I did. I mean, maybe most other kids wouldn't, but I did. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I was out of control. I was out of control. I mean, I was old enough to know that. I wasn't a little baby. So I just made the decision then and there that I wasn't going to ever do that again. Because it hurt my brother. And I didn't like the feeling. Now, not to say I didn't continue fighting with them, but I didn't, lose control. I mean, my older brother and I, we got in this one big fight before that other fight with my brother where we were out of control. And I don't think the parents were home at the time. And I hit him. I hit him with my clarinet. Why was I hitting him with my clarinet? I have no idea. It's like I loved my clarinet. I didn't want it to break. But we were out of control. And he was hitting me, and I threw a fork at him. I think I hit him, right by his nose. Maybe it's a little butter knife. I don't know. Something. It was awful. awful. But we fought so much when we were young, and he used to tease me all the time. What a brat he was. He used to tease me all the time and make fun of me. I don't know why. He's a Libra. Who knows why they do what they do. And I would complain to my mother, tell him to leave me alone. He's bothering me. Why won't he leave me alone? So we used to fight. We used to have these scratch fights where you're like, wow, to each other. Oh, it was terrible. But now, we're in our 60s and we talk to each other all the time. Not to say that we don't have disagreements, either political or religious, or any other number of things that we might argue about. I'm trying to do this just one more up here. But these things I don't know, like this. I don't really like these little trays. They just came with some of the kits that I bought, but I really dislike them. Let me put this over here. That's L. That's 300. So I'll probably, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I've got all of these, but I may just, it's almost like these little ridges. They're not high enough or something. I don't know. I'll probably replace them with something else. So let me see where we're at here. Let me do some of this, okay, right here. Stick to it, stick. I can't believe my dogs are still asleep after all this time. It's nice and quiet, but it's warm. Because I usually have a fan that's sitting next to me over on my left that I turn on when I'm diamond painting. But I don't want it to make noise on the stream, so I don't have it on. But I have a feeling it's starting to get warm outside because I can feel like a temperature difference going on in here. And I haven't heard the AC turn on for a bit. Okay, that's K. K is 666. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to pull out this dot, which I think is 743. That's 743. And then I'll have to pull out C, which I don't know what C is. I'll have to look because this whole canvas is rolled up on either side. So the finished part is to my right and the unfinished part is to my left. So that's where the legends for the colors are. Yeah. So we got C, the dot. That's the equal sign, which I don't have out either. That's 741. I don't know, these three, so the 740, which is this little squirrely symbol here, the dot and the equal sign are all like together in the numbers. It's like 740, 741, 742. I'll have to pull those out. And then here is G. So little 4 diamonds here. And this is the little squiggly mark symbol. There's 4 right there. But I figure what I'll do is I'll just kind of come up. Maybe like I'll do a little bit more here to get like more of this base right here. As far as like pushing them down. Instead of like coming over top heavy and then having this area. And then once I get like this little strip here, kind of like this, then I'll go and I'll do this area here, this upper square area. So that'll have like all of this. And then I'll move over into this next, like kind of like, see how I showed, like this little strip like this. So that's probably like, and then I'll do this. Right? So I'm kind of doing like little strips. A little bit in a line for just the making sure they're all like up against each other and so forth, all that kind of stuff. I don't really see any gapping going on. I'm gonna do this one here. I already put those away. I missed one spot. I try and kind of like do like a little color flow, which is probably how I'll do my cross stitch. You know, maybe like just, let's say this color is in this part of the pattern and then it's kind of over here, then I'll kind of go like that. I'm not going to just do this and then these other colors here and then that color. I'm going to try and do as much color flow as I can. I'll probably do this one. I'll probably do a little video when I'm ready to start. So I think the canvas is going to be here today. So it's Tuesday. My daughter said she's going to bring the floss on Thursday. So I think the frame should be here today as well. I think. I'll have to check. I ordered it from Amazon. And then what I can do is prep the canvas, because I think you're supposed to stitch the sides of it so it's not fraying. And get that done while I'm waiting for her to bring the thread, the floss over. And then I'll go through all the floss. And I'm not supposed to be doing this area. I was going to do down here, but I got to get those yellows out. And this is out right now, so I'll just do this. That's one of the nice things about diamond painting. You can have a plan. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, this, this. And then you're like, oh, I'm just going to come over here and do this other area. Okay. And nobody can tell you to do it any different. And there's no rules. I like that. So anyhow, so once the floss gets here, then I'll do my little inventory. And check what I have versus what the pattern requires. And then if I'm missing anything, go ahead and place an order and get those in. And I think from what I can tell, most of the pattern is just one skein of thread. So, and I think I had most of the colors. I'm not too far there. Most of the colors already, I think. It's been a long time since I went through them. So it'd just be inventory time, and this over here. I have this big thing over here. This one here is 3371. It's that kind of like dark brown color. So I have it in a bigger tray. I've been trying to get my hands on a Muni Made. I don't know what tray, and I'm on the custom list, waiting list. But I haven't heard anything. So I did buy one tray off of Etsy, and even though I like the color of it, I don't like that it's hard to get the diamonds out because of the design of it. It's kind of a pain in the neck. So I wasn't really happy with it. I mean, it was more expensive than, one of these kinds of trays here, but I figured I would try something a little nicer since I'm doing diamond painting all the time. But I may have to go back on Etsy and see if I can find another tray maker. And I know that they can do them 3D printed. What's the other methods? The resin, maybe poured resin into like a mold. I don't know. I don't know which one's better. I don't even know how would you find out which one's better? I have no idea. But I'll look and see if I see like a cute one that looks similar to like the Money Made. I think it's Money Made. Maybe I'll go to her website and check what they're made out of or how she makes them, and then I'll look for something similar on Etsy and get rid of some of these trays here. Um, the one that then we've got like this size. This is a little bit better, but this one um, says Mosfa. Like it's like bent. It's like real flimsy. You can see like you can bend it. So when you go push down, this thing's all like popped up, so it doesn't work. And then the one that I ordered is this one here. It's really pretty. Here's where the diamonds come out here. It's got little butterflies in it. Kind of glittery. It's real pretty. But in here, I think, so there's a diamond stuck in there. Right? So, I think the problem with this is that these lines here, these ridges, they go all the way to the end. So when you're trying to, I would have to have my husband figure out, like maybe take a Dremel and cut all that out down here. So when you slide the diamonds down, then they'll just be kind of in a little open area down here, and then they'll come out here. Yeah, but that's the main problem I see with that. Maybe she tried to do that. I don't know. Yeah, so that's the problem with that one there. And then I've got a purple one. It's got the hole on the corner. So I use that one too. That's not too bad. I usually use the bigger trays when I have a lot of one color. And for some reason I didn't do that this morning with this this little color. I'm doing $8.98 because there's quite a bit right in there, and that I've already done like down here in this section. So I don't know why I didn't just get the bigger tray out. I mean, they're just right here. So next time I'll do that. I'm going to do that next time. Alright, so I'll do this one, and then I'll finish up before the dogs wake up, so nobody has to hear any barking or whatever. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Move this out of the way. This is $8.98. So I'll try and keep them all together. And I might do a little bit more later on this afternoon. But I do want to do a Animal Crossing video on my main. I think this one I'll just throw in the trash. Just like right there. It's in the trash. I do want to do a little bit of fall decorating on my main Animal Crossing island. I already started some, brought out some of like the Halloween stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do, it goes over here, anything major, because my island's like mega decorated, like mega, like, why did you want to come out of there? Where like walking around just makes the Switch just struggle. The Switch is like, why are you doing this to me? So it's like mega decorated, but let's put this one away. I might do some fall stuff on there, and I haven't really shown off that island yet. I should probably do like a little island tour or whatever for that. And then I'll put these here. Get everything's together. We'll have this big one over here on the side. And then what I'm going to do is cover this with a piece of double-sided, whatever it's called, release paper, whatever. I'll just cover it like this, maybe with a small piece right here, so it doesn't get dirty. So yeah, I wanna do a little video on my Animal Crossing island. I'll probably do another stream here on this one here, and then I'll probably do a switcheroo and bring out maybe Bubble Flower or Aquarius by Josephine Wall and do some diamond painting live streams on those, because it's a whole different thing. Like this here, you have my pen. So here you have a bunch of C and K, right? Here's a bunch of these two greens. Right? There's two colors. Here you've got 3 or 4 colors. It's not mega confetti. There's a little bit of that going on, but it's not major. And even in other parts of the piece, there's not like a whole lot of major confetti going on. So it's just fairly quick diamond painting. The Bubble Flower and the Aquarius are like mega confetti. I would say in a section that's maybe this big, there's maybe like 100 colors, 50 colors. It's insane. So it's a lot slower, but the detail is fabulous. So I'll do some live streams on that so you can see how it looks to work on something like that. It's not fast diamond painting at all. Even when I have like a bunch of trays out like this with the different colors, it's still just ridiculous. There's just so many symbols in a small area, but I love how it looks. Like when I'm done with a section, I'm like, wow, that's fabulous. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream in a second. Whoever's here, if you're lurking, watching silently from work or whatever you're doing, enjoy your day. Try and make the world a better place. Stop by my channel, subscribe, like the video, and turn on the little notification bell, and you can see my other videos. I am going to be doing also some more Fae Farm gaming. I got that started and did a little bit further off stream on my own, trying to learn more about the game. And so I've got quite a few things going on. I've got the gaming, I've got my diamond painting, I've got the cross stitch project coming up pretty soon, and so there's a lot going on, and I do want to share those things with you. It's important to do something productive. I don't know if I want to say productive, but creative in your life, no matter what age you are. I don't want to be some grumpy old lady, rah, 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 growling at everybody and just bitter and hating life. Doing something like as simple as diamond painting, doing some cross stitch, doing some gaming, figuring out how to play a game, doing these kinds of things. It helps to keep you young, and so you don't become some, grumpy old bee, and nobody wants that. And I mean, nobody wants to live that way, unless you choose to. If you want to be grumpy, okay, just don't be surprised when people don't want to hang around you or don't want to talk to you. So, yeah. Anyhow, thanks for visiting. Thanks for watching. Enjoy, and try and make the world, try and make the world a better place. And hopefully the stream came out okay. Leave a comment and let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.